is visible to everyone? Okay, guys. So let me start the class. So the topic of the day is Cisco firewall, right? And as we know, Cisco have one firewall, that is ASA. Okay. So guys, if you have any idea about this device, just let me know before the class. If any one of you know about Cisco firewall device. Good evening, guys. So in this lecture, we are covering about Cisco firewall. So let's start with the Cisco firewall. So as we know, what is firewall? First of all, let's talk about that topic, right? So you know, guys, what is firewall? So this is security appliance, right? Security appliance, you can say that means it's device. Okay. Security appliance which is used to protect the network. Okay. And this device send the data from network to outside world. Okay. After matching with the policies. So if we have any traffic in network and we are trying to send that traffic outside from the network, so always traffic pass through the firewall device, right? So firewall device is the device who will check your traffic. So what firewall do? Firewall always check the traffic. That traffic can be ingress traffic in the network, or you can say incoming traffic in network. Okay. Or this can be outgoing traffic from the network. Okay, so in both case, firewall always check the traffic which is coming inside the network. Maybe from internet traffic is coming in the network. Okay, and maybe the traffic is going from your network to outside world. So in both cases, firewall check the traffic. Okay, and match the traffic with specific policies, because we create the policies on the firewall device, right? Specific policies, and accordingly, okay, according to the policies, according to the policies, traffic will permit or deny. So maybe my traffic is permitted or denied because of the policies, because maybe I have allowed some traffic which is belong to my business applications like Google Meet, okay, Teams, Outlook. So that can be traffic I want to permit from my network, right? So that will match with the policies which is permitting the data, right? So I will create a policy like policy number 1 on my firewall, right? Okay, so this is my policy number 1. So that is going to match my Office 365 data. Okay, maybe it's going to match the Teams traffic as well, and this is going to match maybe some other critical applications like Google Meet or something at, right? Okay, so these are my business applications. So that traffic will be permit from firewall and send to outside world. But at the same moment I have another policy, okay, on my firewall, and that policy say it's going to be match the social media traffic, right? Social media traffic means it's going to be match Instagram, okay, Facebook or YouTube. So those are the applications, so I don't need these applications traffic, so I can deny it. So basically firewall is going to do all such type of task in your network. So whenever you want, okay, I have to pass this data, you will create specific policies on firewall for that, right? And if you want to deny some data, you will create other policy for that, okay? Because social media traffic will not match in first policy, maybe that will match in second policy. In second policy have deny statement, so according to that firewall will deny. So that is the task of firewall that we are going to be discussing more detail about it, right? So is that clear to everyone? What is the task of firewall, guys? So firewall is here to give you security and even the permissions according to your policies. So on which traffic you want permit statement and on which traffic you want deny statement. So that is in your hand, right? Like what traffic you want to pass, what traffic you want to permit. Okay. So now every you can say OEM have their own products, like Cisco have its firewall which name is ASA, right? So we are starting here with Cisco ASA and we are understanding the behavior of Cisco ASA, what how Cisco ASA is working, and before that what is this device, okay? So ASA is known as adaptive security appliance, guys, okay? Adaptive security appliance, okay? So this is the Cisco's first firewall, okay? So Cisco introduced its first firewall, introduced the first firewall in 2005. So this is the first firewall of Cisco which is introduced in 2005, that is ASA. And ASA can filter multiple type of traffic, but before that I'm understanding like what is the behavior or what is the operating system type on ASA. So ASA have async OS which is Linux based kernel operating system, okay? So ASA have async operating system which is Linux kernel based operating system, okay? So that is Linux based operating system actually, because every type of device have Linux based operating system when the team make the operating system of it, okay? And after that this device is going to filter, it can filter which type of traffic, guys? It can filter layer 3 traffic using source and destination IP addresses. So it can match source and destination IP address and it can filter accordingly, okay? It can also match layer 4 traffic, guys, using source port number, right? Transport layer, source port number and destination port number. Is it clear? So that means your device can filter the traffic at layer 3 addresses and layer 4 information. Layer 3 means IP address, source IP and destination IP. Layer 4 information means source port number, destination port number. Like those are the TCP and UDP port numbers if you remember at transport layer, right? But ASA can't filter layer 7 traffic yet, but it can do many things, like it have multiple features. If you talk about features, what features we can achieve on Cisco firewall? So Cisco firewall is first of all give you routing. Routing means if you want to configure OSPF on Cisco firewall, that is possible, BGP and static routing, right? So we can do routing configuration also on this device, because this is security appliance. This is not for routing purpose, because for routing we have special routers, right? but maybe some type of routing need to perform by this device also, because maybe that is the requirement of network, right? So we use this device, okay? And it can also use for perform net. So that means it can perform net policies for me, like I can configure static net on it, right? Okay, I can configure dynamic net, I can configure pat also. So those features also available on that box. And after that we have high availability on the device. High availability means maybe in my network I have two firewalls. So I want to perform both firewalls maybe active, or I want to perform both firewalls as active and standby. Okay, so we have here active concept. Okay, and we have active and standby also. Okay, so those features we are getting on the firewall. And after that we have more features. If we talk about features only first, okay, what is the next feature? We can we can do the quality of service also on the device. So that means I can do the traffic prioritization. Okay, so I can prioritize the traffic, so that is also possible. And after that we can do this device as a layer 2 device also. Okay, so that is the transparent mode, that is like in bridge mode on the device. Okay, so the transparent mode is also available here. Okay, transparent means device will act as layer to device. So you can do every security thing on the device, but it will behave like a layer 2 when it will pass the traffic. So it will not check the routing table and all. Okay, but it will still filter the data. Okay, or you can say like a bridge device. And also it can give you context on ASA. Okay, context means you can divide your physical ASA virtual in two ASA. Okay, so that is also available here. So we have multiple things to do on the Cisco firewall. Okay, I hope this is clear. So these are the features. Until now we are talking about it can filter like layer 3 and layer 4 traffic, and that firewall are now introduced in 2005. So now if we talk about this device, so if we talk about ASA, so the ASA engine name is Lina. Okay, so this is the name of ASA engine, or you can say heart of the ASA. Okay, okay, so this is the name of the engine, but that engine is exist with the ASA. But still this ASA can't filter layer 7 traffic, guys. Why? Because till now we discussed it can filter only layer 3 and layer 4 traffic, right? It can filter layer 3 and layer 4 traffic only. So if I want to inspect or I want to filter layer 7, like any layer 7 application, HTTP, HTTPS, okay, so that traffic cannot be inspected by the ASA or cannot be checked by the ASA in detail, right? So after that in 2013 Cisco acquire a company. The name is Shorefire. If you ever heard about it, right? So Shorefire was a company. So they acquired the company, and that company ASA, the company firewall, you can say, right? The Shorefire firewall can inspect or filter. You can say, okay. Inspect means like they can check the data. Okay. Inspect or filter the layer 7 traffic, right? So that is on firewall. Okay, so Cisco acquire that company, so Cisco can use layer 7 filtering or inspection of this firewall. So Cisco tried to merge this source firewall with ASA Lena engine, right? So that source fire is using separate engine actually. And what is the name of source fire engine? Engine name is Snort. This is the name of the engine, guys. Okay. So Snort is actually source fire engine. So Cisco tried to merge source and Lena engine and Snort engine in their firewall. Okay. So Cisco tried, what Cisco tried, guys? Cisco tried Lena plus Snort engine together. But this experiment was total failure. This experiment was failure. And they tried this test on which series of Cisco? The Cisco ASA series was, this was the series number, guys, 5500. Okay. So Cisco tried Lena and Snort engine tried to fit single firewall ASA series 5500, but this was total failure. It didn't work. Okay. So after some time, Cisco tried again to fit both the engines together on the firewall on ASA, you can say, but this time it works. Okay. So Cisco again, tried again, and this time they make it possible. Okay. And now this series is Cisco ASA 5500, and you can see it's XX series, guys. So if you check, they have XX with their firewall now. So that is the successful experiment, right? Okay. But there was a small challenge in it, or you can say, is it not the small challenge? And what is the challenge, guys? Challenge is there are two separate GUI interface to configure layer 3 and layer 4 configuration for Lena and layer 7 for Snort, right? So challenge is there are two separate GUI for each engine to configure the policies, right? So that means if I want to configure layer 3 and layer 4 policies, okay, on which engine, guys? On Lena. So I need to access the firewall, okay, that is like GUI number 1. If I want to configure layer 7 policies for my layer 7 applications, so I need to access the GUI interface of Snort engine, right? So that is second GUI for me. So that means to do one task, you have to log in 2 times and you have to configure two separate policies. Are you getting my point? But later on, if you check on any other vendor like Palo Alto and other, at the same time, whenever at same time when Cisco was facing those challenges, so other vendors were successfully giving one GUI for all configuration. If you take example of Palo Alto, right? So Palo Alto is like a popular device, okay, popular firewall. So Palo Alto have single GUI to configure the layer 3, layer 4, layer 7 traffic inspection or policies, right? So that means if one vendor is giving you better solution, then why you will go with this solution? Are you getting my point? Because if I'm a customer and I want to purchase the firewall, so I have two options. One option is I can purchase this firewall, but which have two separate GUIs for same configuration, and one is giving me one GUI for all type of configuration. So always we choose this solution, right? We choose this solution. Why? Because this is more better. Maybe this is expensive, but maybe this is the better thing, right? As a solution point of view. So after some time, Cisco come up with solution, and Cisco introduced a new device, that is FTD. That is FTD, guys. Okay. So now Cisco have another solution. or you can say Cisco next generation firewall. Okay, so Cisco have next generation firewall, and that is FTD. So FTD have single GUI interface, and it can do all the things like all type of configuration and policy on single GUI. Okay, so that is firepower, threat, defense. Okay, so this is the latest firewall of the Cisco that we are going to be discuss. But before that, we are going to be discuss about the Cisco firewall. Guys, till now, if you have any doubt, let me know and feel free to ask. Everyone, any query? Okay. If you have anything, you can put your queries in chat box also. But feel free to ask, guys. Okay. Great. If there is no doubt. Okay. So now we are discussing about Cisco ASA, right? So we are now discussing about Cisco ASA. So what Cisco ASA we are going to be discuss? We are going to be discuss this one 55500XX. Okay. So normally we use CLI configuration on this device. Okay, instead of the GUI, but we have some GUI as alternate also like GUI 1, GUI 2 that we can use. So we need some external tool also for that. We don't have direct GUI access like other firewall. But right now, everyone have FTD solution, so why they will go with the ASA? But as a part of the course, we need to discuss it, okay? Because this is in Cisco lab, or in Cisco CCIE security lab, okay? So we are talking about ASA firewall, guys. So the first point, how to access the device. The first point is how to access the ASA. So only we have two options to access the ASA. The first one is CLI. CLI we can access through the console port, Telnet, or SSH. These are the CLI solution, right? The second we can access the GUI. Okay, so that is graphical user interface. Like on my browser, I can access it, right? But Cisco ASA have separate thing to do that. Okay, you don't have direct uh, GUI access, so you need to use ASDM solution. So ASDM is like a tool you need to install on your laptop, and using that tool you can log in the ASA. Okay, through HTTPS. Okay, so we have these two solutions. So I'm starting with the first solution, CLI, because first time if you have brand new firewall, so always you have to access through console cable, right? Always you have to access through console cable. Okay, and once you configured with the console cable, then you have two options to manage it through Telnet and SSH. So if you check on your firewall, there is one interface that is known as management interface. And guys, do you know what is the purpose of management interface? Any idea? This interface is used to manage the firewall. Okay, and this is not for user data. Make sure not for user data. So you can't use this interface for user traffic, like to pass the LAN traffic. Okay, this is dedicated interface just for management purpose. You can manage it through Telnet, SSH, or ASDM. So you have any type of yeah, you have multiple type of options to manage it, right? Okay, so what you need to do, so this interface will not communicate with other interface. Okay, so that means if you have any IP on management, that will be not reachable from any other interface of the firewall. Like if I have router, And just try to understand like this. We have router, right? So router have multiple interfaces like this. So here they have 12.1 IP, 13.1, 14.1, and 15.1. So that means all interfaces are installed into which table, guys? Routing table on the firewall, right? So that means if try to ping from this interface to this, it will be reachable. So every interface can reach each other on a router, but this is not for firewall. This is not for firewall. So if firewall have something like this, so that means they can't communicate, right? So management interface, this interface cannot communicate with other interfaces, right? So there is no communication, and we need to install separate route in routing table for management. Okay, so for management interface, like if I want to access my device from management interface, so I need to give a separate route on management interface, so we can reach this interface from anywhere, right? Okay, like this. So this is my firewall. Okay, so firewall have here one management interface. Okay, it have IP like 172.16.10.1. This is the IP address. Okay, now I want to access it, so I have here maybe another management switch that is connected with the firewall. So my traffic will come through this interface on firewall. It will not come from another interface which is connected on the firewall already. Like this is the interface, this is for my LAN, right? And here is WAN interface on firewall. So if any user try to access from LAN interface to hit this IP address, that will be not work. Why? Because the firewall don't use other interface to come for management purpose, right? But if we have dedicated management interface, so for that I can configure telnet sh and GUI access. Okay, so they have to come to send data on management interface to access it. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, guys. So now first of all we are going to configure basic configuration on firewall, like how to configure IP address and those things. Okay, then we will see how to access the device through telnet and ssh. So the first protocol is here telnet. So how to configure telnet configuration on the firewall? Okay, so let's start, guys, with the access of the firewall. So here I have lab. Okay, so let me power on the devices. Before that, what I'm going to do, like this is my firewall. So I want to access the firewall maybe on my desktop. Okay, on my laptop, because you can check their interfaces are different and different interface, right? So I want to use the management interface, like it's gig 0 by 1, gig 0 by 2. So I need to connect the management interface. Okay, so I am going to use here one network cloud, that is management. Okay, and save it, and I'm going to put this wire here. So this must be the management interface. Here is the management interface. Okay, and save it. Now let me start this firewall. Okay, so access it. Okay, so it will take some time to boot. Okay, so now we have access of the firewall. Okay, so first time if you have Cisco firewall, so you will get this kind of host name. Okay, and if you try enable here, it will ask the password. Why? Because of security appliance, this always asks the password, but by default there is no password. You can just press enter and you will be move here, right? Because of security device, this is asking by default a password, but by default there is no password, so you can just try to enter and move to privilege mode, right? So similar like normal device, you can check show IP interface brief, but sorry, my bad. Show interface IP brief, but this command will not work here. Why? So on Cisco, the command is show interface IP brief. So that is bit opposite, right? So normal device have show IP interface brief. Cisco have show interface IP brief command. Okay. So similar we have here gig interfaces, 6 gig and 7 gig interface, and one is management interface. So there is no IP address till now. If you check version on it, so we are using 9.6 version of the software, right? And here it will show you the license features which are platform. So maximum we have 10 physical interface, we have 50 VLANs, and any number of hosts we can use. We have here license on the device, active and standby failover, right? It's using encryption, DES, DS3S, and ES, right? Okay. And we have here security context by default 0, but we will check in upcoming time. Okay, so this is the serial number. Okay, clustering is not available right now, maybe of the virtual device. Okay, so now how we can configure the device. So still we have like configuration terminal, right? So we want to configure the interface, so we have here management interface. And what is the name is gig 0 by 0, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so first of all you have to know shut down it. So always you have to give first of all name if. So name if is a like name of the interface. So I'm giving here management because interface is always configured with their name, not with the interface number. So if you have to apply any policies for the interface, so they will always applied with the name. Okay, so name must be unique. It can't be same name. Okay, and now you can give here IP address. Like I want to give the IP address. Just let me check. I need to check the. Okay, this is my subnet actually. So I'm giving the IP from the same subnet. Why? Because my management interface is connected with the net cloud, right? So net cloud is actually the adapter of my VMware belong to this network. Okay, so that's why I'm using it. And now let me configure the IP. 1.60. Okay, same. Yeah. So that how we can configure. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Okay. So now we are configuring the firewall. So we configured the IP address, right? And we now shut down it and we have given the name. So now first point, whenever we give any IP address on device like router or firewall, let's talk about router first. So router install that route in routing table. So similar firewall must install, right? So you have here command show route, not show IP route, because show IP route command is for iOS device, right? So show route command is for Cisco firewall. If you check, now we have network is visible in routing table. Okay. And now you can check network is visible with the name of interface, not with the interface number. Interface number is management 0 by 0. But we have given the name MZMT, right? And on Cisco, real Cisco, you need to use that command, I guess. Management only. Because, wait a minute. I have given this. Okay. Actually, this must visible, the route must visible here because it must be part of the management only network, right? Okay. But maybe because of the virtual, this is showing here directly into the normal routing table, but management network never visible in the normal routing table. They must be part of the management only. Okay. So if you try to check show interface IP brief, see the IP address is visible here and the interface is okay up. So if you try to ping, so let me try to ping 192.168.1.16. So the IP address is reachable from my laptop, right? Okay. So what I can do, I can try to take access of it. The first thing, the telnet is not configured yet, right? And if you want to configure the telnet, so there are few things you need to make sure. So telnet is always visible from the interface which have higher security level. Now you need to know what is security level, guys. Okay, so let me tell you that thing first. So every interface have security level on Cisco firewall. Okay, so each interface have security level. Okay, and the range is 0 to 100, right? And 0 security level, 0 is less trustworthy. Less trustworthy. Okay, and the security level 100 is high trustworthy. Okay, Okay, so now the first thing I need to configure security level. So how security level is and I need to enable it. What I need to do, I need to enable that telnet, okay, on firewall. So I need to do these things. Now I'm moving in the global mode. Okay, so the first thing we are moving again in the interface management 0 by 0. Security level, you can see 0 to 100, I'm giving 100, right? And now you can configure the telnet. So how to enable the telnet, guys? So this is very easy. The first command is you need to configure telnet, and you need to specify for which network you want to configure telnet. So I'm using right now management traffic, right? So I'm using this one, suppose. So I will define like this. Okay, and from which interface? Management interface. So I defined if anyone from this network and from management interface try to access, so they can access the telnet. They can access the telnet. And the next thing, triple A is by default enabled here. So triple A authentication, login, triple A authentication telnet, console, local. So this is the command. This local must be in capital, guys. Okay, make sure this local is into the capital. And after that you can define the username and password. So username is admin. Okay, wait a minute, username admin, and password is, okay, I need to give here privilege level also, not directly. Privilege level 15, password is privilege separate and password is separate command with it. So I configured here these three commands. The first command is username and password with privilege. Okay, these are the command. Second is AAA configuration for telnet, so local must be in capital. And the third command is I need to enable telnet for this network from management interface. Okay, so I did these things, guys. Yeah, so this is the minimum configuration we configured. Now let's check. So we have to access the telnet 192.168 1.60. So now see, admin, password is Cisco. Enable, we have not set the enable password. And show privilege, I'm not sure this command is working here. But now we have access of the firewall, right? We can check. Okay. So now that how you can access the telnet of the device. Okay, guys. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. So I guess there is no doubt in telnet configuration. Okay. So you need to tell me if there is any doubt. I hope this is clear to everyone. But if you have any doubt in Telnet configuration on Firewall, please put your doubts in the chat box, guys. So we did minimum configuration. So for Telnet, security level must be 100. Okay. Telnet prerequisites. Okay, so security level must be 100, and you need to give telnet network, network like this. Okay, and you need to give here interface, like interface is your management. Okay, and after that we need to give here username, privilege. Okay, wait a minute. After that we need to define again password for username admin. Password is Cisco, and the last thing, triple is by default enabled, so you need to give here command triple A authentication telnet console local. So local must be in capital, make sure that. Okay, otherwise you will face the challenge. Okay, so that is about telnet configuration, guys. Okay, and there is one more thing about telnet. Telnet cannot be possible from less secure interface. Okay, telnet is never allowed with less security level interface. So that means from outside network or from WAN interface of firewall, you will never take the telnet. So telnet is always possible from the LAN network. Okay, if you don't want to use from the management interface. Okay, so the next topic is a SSH, right? So that how we can take telnet. So as we know, telnet is not secure. So how you can configure SSH? We discussed already the differences in yesterday class. So you can go through the recording and you will see the differences. Okay, so the topic is SSH, which is secure shell, right? So secure shell, this is which guys. So SSH, as we know, this is a secure protocol when we take the remote access, and this is again TCP based. Okay, and port number 22, right? Now we already know version 1, version 2 differences. Okay, so I'm not going again with that thing, but here I'm going to discuss how to configure SSH on ASA. How to configure? How to configure SSH on ASA. Now, first of all, we need to enable here we need to enable the keys, right? So for that we have one command, crypto key generate RSA, right? So we need to generate here key. So by default, if you see, we have to use default key of RSA. If you give any name to the key, that will not work for SSH. You have to make sure that, okay? And after that, we need to define again here same thing like SSH. You need to define here network. Network can be anything. So that means any network. If I'm giving this command 0.0.0, network also 000. So that means if anyone trying to access, okay, from management interface, so they are allowed. And again, AAA is enabled by default. So we need to use here AAA authentication, SSH console, local, right? So this is the command. This is the command, okay? So make sure, okay, by default, you have to keep this thing in mind. By default, AAA is enabled on Cisco ASA. That's why we need to configure this command. Which command? The AAA authentication SSH console local, okay? Configure this command. So is that clear? Okay. And AAA is enabled by default. We don't need to enable, but if you check on a normal device like iOS device, there is no AAA by default. Now let's start the configuration. Then we will see how we can configure configuration, okay? Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure SSH. So we have already username and password, so we no need to require to configure again. But we can start with crypto key generate RSA. So if I'm going to configure this command, the name of the key is the default RSA key. So this default RSA key name is required for SSH. If you give any name after that RSA, like you give your own name, so that will be, maybe it will generate the keys. That is not the challenge, but the problem is it will not allow you to take the SSH of the device. Okay, so this is the problem. After that, you need to allow the SSH. So I can allow like this from management interface. Okay, username password is already there, so you no need to configure username and password, but the commands are remain same which we used in Telnet. Okay, yes, okay, allowed it to accept the keys. Admin password is Cisco. Wait a minute, what's wrong? We configured the same configuration. Why the password is not accepted? Username admin password Cisco. Okay, username admin privilege 15. Okay, admin Cisco. What's wrong with it? Why? Sorry. Wait a minute. What's the problem? We enabled the SSH. Maybe the reason is with some keys. Keys are not generated properly. Uh, IP. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We configured the keys. Okay. Keys are generated and we configured username and password. Then what's wrong with it? Show SSH. Show crypto. Key. My.key. RSA. I thought the problem is with keys are generated. Okay, that's the default key. Okay, that's not the problem. Crypto key generate RSA. Mm, modulus 1024. Yes. Okay, wait. Let me try to just command again. Admin Cisco. Okay. Mm, let me do one thing. Let me try to access on any router. Okay. Start it. So I will configure gig 0 by 0 interface also. So let me configure interface gig 0 by 0, no shutdown, and name if is inside. Okay, so inside interface have by default security level 100. If you configure anything else, that have in security level 0, so you need to configure manually. IP address 10.10. Okay. Name if is configured, so it have security level 100, so no need to configure it again. And now I can configure SSH again, 0 and 0, and the interface is inside. Okay. And now, so I think this have already IP address. Okay, because I configured last time. So wait a minute, let me try to ping 10.1.1.10. Maybe the switch is booting. Okay, so that's why it's taking some time. Okay, maybe this time it will work. Okay, now let me try to take SSH. Connection upward. Okay, no matching keys algorithm found. Client Diffie Hellman group exchange SHA Diffie Hellman SHA server Diffie Hellman SHA. Oh, it's the key challenge on firewall. Okay. So let me do one thing. Logging enable. Logging console 7. So we need to check the logs. Maybe because of some mismatch of the key, or I need to change the image. Fail to locate the egress interface. Wait a minute. Okay, 10.10 identifier. 10.10 TCP connection is built. Identifier. Everything is look good here. Just a minute, guys. Let me check something. Okay, there can be one problem. We need to use here SSH version 2. Okay. There is one command. I guess I forget. SSH version. Come on. Okay, so we enable here SSH version 2. Let me try this time. No. One more thing I can retry. Maybe the problem is with image because I faced the same challenge before that. IP is okay. Let me try one thing again. Crypto. What's wrong with the firewall? Even the command is not working. Okay, let me try to replace it. Okay. Guys, the thing is, there is something wrong with the essay. Maybe it's not exchanging the keys. Okay, otherwise it will work because as I know, or what I can do, I can try on different ASA for one time. Okay. Let me connect it with the same cloud. I don't have management port actually. So I will try on this also. Maybe it will work. Okay. Just wait for 1 to 2 minutes at least. Okay, so let's try on this also. Okay, so host name is ASA, interface is eth0 by 0. No, it's only eth0. No shutdown. And IP address is 192.168 1.61. Okay, let's try 61. And name if is inside. Okay, and now we can configure here username admin privilege. It's what's wrong with it? Password. Password is called privilege level is 15. Okay, so it have some different command because of the iOS change. And SSH 00 inside. Okay, triple authentication SSH console local. Okay, and after that we can use SSH version is 2. Okay, and we configured SSH IP address, everything is here good. So let me try this time. Come on. Am I not able to reach this? Let me check. One dot 61. Okay. Oh wait, it's not reachable. Just a minute. Show interface IP brief. IP is configured. Okay, interface is also up. What about the diagram interfaces? It's 0. Okay. Then why it's not working? Why? Okay, guys. Let me try to ping here. Show route. Let me check the route. It must install. Okay. The route is installed in the table. No problem. Let me try to ping. Okay. Then how I can try? Hmm. Let me change the IP. Maybe it's wait. I'm using 62 and trying to ping 61. My bad. 192.168.1.62. What's wrong with it? One command is missing, guys. I forget to enable the crypto, right? Crypto key, my pub key, RSA. Yeah, it's not there. Crypto key generate RSA. Okay, yeah. that is required. So let me try this time. Maybe we have hope this time. Yeah, see, the configuration is same. The glitch was with image or maybe some protocols. Okay. So this is the easiest way that how you can enable the SSH protocol or Telnet protocol. Okay. So guys, still here. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, we can start discussing more about the firewall. Thank you, Sahir. So till here, you have any doubt, guys? Miguel, Sahir, Vidya, any one of you? Odiola. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, so you can just tell me. Okay. Okay. So I think that is enough because I'm just feeling bit not well. Okay. So we will continue on Monday. So I'm starting with the basic like traffic flow on firewall. Okay. So like how to pass the traffic from LAN to internet through firewall. Okay, like what is the behavior of the firewall during that, how we can configure the policies. So that will be for next